we're live.
Hello, Black Rockers United.
What's up, bro?
What's up, bro?
What's going on?
It's so good to have y'all. This is our latest admin roundtable. I will be hosting with my fellow admins, Ali, Nate, brew founder, shout out to you, and Kim Gill. How y'all doing? How about we introduce ourselves?
Okay, so I'm Kim, brew media director, Keep It Metal with Kim Gill on YouTube. I've been having a good week so far. So yeah, I've been doing my fitness program and it's been working out good. I feel stronger. I've been doing stretches, which makes me more balanced and flexible, which is also helping me with my clumsiness because I tend to be very clumsy. So I'm like every day I'm doing better than I was the day before, doing better than I was last week. So I'm just trying to keep up with it. So yeah.
Okay.
So and I've been trying to stay productive.
You say stretch, you talking like yoga?
Yeah, it's kind of like yoga. I do it as like a 15-minute stretch, a 10-minute stretch I saw on YouTube, like you do for a pre-workout, and they incorporate like some yoga stuff in there. So yeah, I've been doing that, and it's been helping me a lot.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Nate, when's the last time you stretched?
Just now. Just not waking up not too long ago.
Nate, why don't you introduce yourself? It's your turn.
Yeah, well, so I'm Nathan. So I'm the founder, creator of the Black Rockets United website. Well, not website, but the group page. So my week's been busy. So I just been working real hard, just been sleeping. So trying to catch up with my sleep. But I pull through it.
Yeah.
So,
hustling and grinding, but you're doing well, yeah?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm straight.
Good to hear.
Yeah.
I'm Ali Bishop. I'm in New York City, Harlem, New York, and I got a band. I play guitar, and I think I may have finally secured my drummer situation. So I had to the drummer that I had to leave the state because of COVID. All his gigs dried up, so he had no more money.
Oh shit!
So he had to move. So it was kind of tough. He was actually a really, really good drummer. So I had to kind of move around a little bit. But I think I may have found a good alternate, and had a good rehearsal this week. So looking forward to getting some things out, making some moves.
What's the name of your band, Ali?
The name of the band is Sound Frontier. I want to give a quick shout out to Lord Bishop, who may be tuning in at some point. Another member, Brew, who is setting up touring opportunities for brew artists such as Sound Frontier, and he's very committed to making that sort of bridge a reality between the States and Europe, and getting us over there and getting us in front of people that will appreciate what we're trying to do. So shout outs to Lord Bishop, shout outs to what he's definitely trying to do, and big
killers
future. That's right.
Yeah, that is so cool.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much, like, to Lord Bishop and everyone that's supported Black Rockers United thus far. Like, y'all keep us going. You're really you're awesome people.
Dude.
We roll with you. We rock with you. Yes. So what are we talking about this roundtable? Well, first of all, rock. What is the meaning to us personally? Who did we first get into as rockers? Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
I'm Jimmy.
Jimmy.
So he's the one that did everything for me. So once I start with him, the doors open, and then everybody else kind of came after.
Okay, so Jimmy was the gateway musician for you in terms of rock,
and probably a couple others too, not just
me. Among like them. I get that.
I don't think I'm the only one. Yeah. He tended to do that for a lot of people.
Okay, I would say for me, it's a tie between Metallica and Slipknot because the first metal sounding song I heard was the Metallica and Ja Rule song. But then I listened to Slipknot after watching Resident Evil, and I was listening to that soundtrack, so that got me into like rock and metal. So yeah, that's my story.
Nice. So you got into the heavier side.
Yeah.
Okay. Rad.
Shoot,
Nate, you go.
Me. Well, by the age of 5, Prince.
Prince.
Through my cousin, because she was a huge Prince fan when I was a little kid, and I just heard the guitar riff from Purple Rain, and I just fell in love with live instruments, and I'm kind of like him, so you know what I'm saying. I also listen to the heavy side, like the Slipknot, when I was a senior in high school, so it draw me in.
I think that's really interesting. I remember you told me during the Brew Talk that like there was kind of a period when you were younger that you heard like the soul kind of rock like Prince, but then it started to get heavier as you got older into high school. I like that progression. That's really dope.
Yeah.
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 For me,
Slipknot the first Slipknot album is a classic.
Which one?
The very first one.
Was it Wade and Blade?
No, the self-titled one, Slipknot, 1999, came out in 99. Yeah. Classic.
Super.
I think they came out with an album before that though. I think it's called Make, Feed, Kill, Repeat.
Yeah, that was a demo.
That was like a single. It was like an EP or something. I think they came out with that before. Yeah. And then they dropped that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was like the mid-90s metal scene. Around the time that I heard God Forbid, which was like a huge band for me. Shout out to Dallas.
Yeah. Shout out to Dallas. And our condolences to his family.
Yeah.
Our condolences to Dallas's family. He lost his father this week. So we want to send our love to him and his brother Doc. This is a very difficult time for them. And they both lost their mother around the same time last year. So I know this is a very difficult period for them. So yeah, we love you both and we're thinking of you.
Definitely.
Yeah. Absolutely. Like they're not just a formative part of the admin team, like they are a formative part of metal overall. They're one of the first bands that I remember hearing of that genre. And for me, one of the influential bands, and I'm sure for y'all as well, was Living Colour. Okay, y'all come through for the hard rock and the metal.
Corey.
And there you go, Corey Glover and Vernon Reid. Yeah, the whole band is just phenomenal. And Jimi Hendrix, like Ali said, and Slipknot. So we all kind of share that intersection of who introduced us to rock. Yeah.
To be honest, I would not have guessed Slipknot. To be honest. I would. What was it about Slipknot? See, I'm more of like a blues cat, so I lean that direction. So enlighten me a little bit. What was it about Slipknot that seemed to catch all of your attentions?
Who wants to go first?
I can tell me. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, with me, you know what I'm saying. It was just like the fast, like the speed, fast pace. The drumming. The heavy guitars. It really caught my attention. So, like I said, I've always been a fan of like live instruments. But once I heard the heavy stuff, I'm like, wow, this is crazy. I said, you know what? I want to hear some more. So, like I said, in high school, a friend of mine made me a copy of the disc. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have MP3s and like all the device we have now. We didn't have that back then. So, yeah, exactly.
So what kind of metal is that? Is that thrash? Is that speed? Is that?
I think they classify it as new metal.
New metal.
Yeah. I would say for me, there was a lot of things that I liked about Slipknot. They were very unique to me. Not only was it 9 members of the bands, like I'm a very artistic person, so I love the mask. I love how they presented themselves on stage. I like the sound of their music, and then when you research the band deeply, you know that they have different influences like from all around any music genre. Like you have influences of like DSI, Morbid Angel, Jimi Hendrix, and then Eric Clapton, I think, and then they also had DJ Flash is an influence to one of the members because they have a DJ in the band. And then sometimes when Sid Wilson, and then sometimes when you hear Corey singing, or he sounds like he's kind of rapping in a way too. So there's like different types of like things that gravitates you towards the band in terms of their background story and also in terms of how they perform. Like they just had like this badass attitude about them. They were very rebellious in a way, and it just captivated people, the way they presented themselves and the way they wrote their music and the way they expressed themselves.
Yes.
Yeah. For me, Ollie, to answer your question, I think nu metal definitely is kind of a heavier vein of grunge. Grunge being an evolution of blues. So like that's what drew me to it. I was like, this sounds like a heavier grunge. Like if a bunch of like boys from like grunge bands decided to just like throw themselves into a mosh pit, that was Slipknot. For me.
I would not have made that connection. That's cool.
And I was like, let's just jam. Let's get these like heavy grooves and these rhythms and basses, you know? Yeah.
Okay.
Just like Korn. They're a nu metal band, so you know they're in the same category.
Gotcha.
Right.
Okay.
So I guess that kind of leads to like the rock and roll, like the Hall of Fame rockers, the most influential like rockers in the mainstream. Who do you think should be in the Hall of Fame in terms of rock? Who's been inducted this year in terms of like the nominations are Shaka Khan, I believe, right? Jay-Z, Kate Bush. Yeah.
Biggie Smalls.
Yeah, Biggie Smalls.
Exactly. Biggie Smalls, Mary J. Blige as well. Are all being like nominated for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Right.
But who do you think already should be in the Hall of Fame?
Anybody black. Anybody black. That's it. And that's it. That's on period. But I think the Tejano singer Selena, her fans are petitioning to get her inducted too. And I think it's a well-deserved induction on my part because she did so much for Latin culture in the mainstream that is like most of Latin media wouldn't exist if unfortunately she didn't die, because they didn't see the market. They didn't see the market in the Latin consumerism until after her death, when everybody was buying up everything with her name on it and her picture on it. So they really missed the target niche market. So they found that out when they when she died, and then you have all these magazines in Spanish now because of her. So I think she did such a great thing with what she was doing with music. Like she took her traditional culture. Some of her songs were covers of traditional Mexican songs or Tejano songs, and then she put a contemporary spin on it. And most of her influences were Black artists too. I think that was amazing. Like she had a lot of influences from Black artists, and she incorporated that image and that sound into her music, and that's what made people fall in love with it. And she just gave it like a new fresh look, and she was like the first woman in that genre to get like a mainstream endorsement. She got a Coca-Cola endorsement, and she was marketing to many people. So she was just a tremendous loss to the music industry. And her anniversary was the other day. The death anniversary was the other day.
S&P, Selena Quintanilla, Who are your top three, I guess? If I were to ask, like, so Selena's your one, and then who would be your other two before we ask the rest of the roundtable?
Other two? I would put Beyonce in there.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. Like, two Texas, like, boos are definitely, like, Selena and, like, Beyonce.
In terms of Black rock, Eddie Grant deserves to be in there.
All right.
Eddie Grant deserves to be in there because he did so much. Like I just learned that he was trying to when he was trying to make Calypso international, he tried to incorporate rock sounds into calypso, so it could cross over.
Yep. They kept
So
thinking
and
Jimmy
he's
Cliff.
writing a book right now too. He's
He is
in the
writing a
works of writing a book about his life and his career and talking about calypso, and even from when he was in the Equals, he's going to talk about that. And he was like the first Black person to be in an integrated rock band, and they dominated Britain. So, and now he just manages artists out there, and I think he lives in Barbados now. I didn't know he was a Bajan. I don't know if he is Bajan, but I think he
I thought he was Jamaican. Oh, okay.
he is Jamaican. I think he is Jamaican, but I think he's somewhere in Barbados.
No, he's Guyanese.
Oh, he's Guyanese. Oh, I don't know.
I heard Antigua. I heard St. Lucia. I
like that, like there's kind of the interesting not necessarily like overlap, but interwoven like calypso, like reggae culture throughout the Caribbean. And they all have their distinct like interpretation of that sound that comes from Africa. Yeah.
Right.
Also, ska and the influence that ska had on Western bands. Important. Lena made a comment. You see you, Miss Dawes.
Hi, Lena.
Hi, Elena. She said it's also about the lyricism too. That might have been in reference to Slipknot, or
I think it was about Slipknot.
Okay.
It's also about the lyricism too.
Militia Vox is hot.
In terms of the music she brings, or in terms of the look,
she's hot. I guess that's not wrong, no matter how you look at it.
Who wants to go next in terms of who they think is top 3 Hall of Fame?
Me, I go. I say the Bad Brains. They should have been. That was nominated, but they ain't get in. They should have been in.
What?
Yeah.
As travesty. Electric
Chair.
Chair.
Yeah. I was so disappointed. I said, man, y'all doing that? That's so disrespectful. Now y'all being disrespectful now. So, I say the Bad Brains. I say Living Color. If they in there now, if I'm not mistaken.
I thought that they were. Let me see about that.
Yeah. Are they on there?
I swear that they were.
If not them. You know what I'm saying? They deserve it.
Right.
Yeah, they work so hard. So, and you say one more? You said 3?
Yeah, 3.
Okay, one more. Dang. Shit. Oh my God. I don't want to say the wrong person and they already in it, you know?
I mean, like, we're no experts exactly on who's in it. It's okay.
Yeah. So, okay, one more. Robert Johnson.
Yes.
Ooh, Robert Johnson. That is a clutch one. Yeah.
Man, no. Robert Johnson / Screaming Jay Hawkins.
Yes.
That's not nice.
Yes.
That's a cool trifecta.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Screaming Jay Hawkins, because like I said, like they said, he the one brought the skulls on national TV. So.
Yes, absolutely. You can kind of trace a metal and punk back to the legendary pioneer Screaming Jay Hawkins.
Yep. Gotta get that, you know what I'm saying? Gotta get that boy some credit.
Oh yeah, you do. So. Ali, what you researching? Look like you're doing some crate digging. Can't hear you, bro.
Can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
we can hear you.
Yeah, sorry about that. I think we're starting to get some echoes on the mics.
I think everyone should turn their mic
off.
off.
We may have to go to mute until you want to speak. So let's try that. Anyway, so my question is okay. So Bad Brains, is Fishbone in? I think it should be Bad Brains, Fishbone, Living Color sort of seem to be like the holy triumvirate that everybody kind of knows about for Black rock. So I would make sure that they're taken care of. I would also like to make sure that Sister Rosetta Tharpe is in there. I don't know if she is or not. I would make sure that she is. I think that would be important. I think Tina Turner is going in this year as a solo artist. So shout outs to Tina for that. And I think at some point Lenny should be going in there. I think he's kind of earned a right to be in there. So I'd like to see Lenny in there too. But, so the big three: Fishbone, Bad Brains, Living Color, obviously. And then, like Death, a couple of those people, a couple of those bands that really should get more play than they do. I would like to see in there also. And Tina Bell. I mean, I'm just picking up on her now. So thanks to the spotlight that we did, kind of forced me to take a look. And she was grunge in like the 80s. So I think she should be in there too. My thoughts.
Nice, very nice. A plethora of artists and all like ones that should have been. I think that Sister Rosetta Tharpe was actually inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame recently, but that was just because of artists like continually like paying homage to her because she was like swept aside by the mainstream for so long. She was actually inducted by Alabama Shake's frontwoman, Brittany Howard, and she played her song "That's All," and I thought that was really cool, bringing it all back to the roots, So
lovely.
Shout out to them. One pioneer that I definitely think should have been in there, Charlie Patton. If y'all don't know the amazing blues master Charlie Patton, they are the Mississippi Delta king of blues, the prototype of rock and roll.
That's right. Repping for the High Yellows back in the 20th century. So I got to give a shout out.
Native American, African American, and I think like some European ancestry mixed in there. And he played with Son House and would inspire Robert Johnson, who Nate said should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
He was the big dog that they all looked up to at that point.
Who else should I think be in there? Lady Bo, Peggy Jones. Mm-hmm. Yes, rhythm guitarist for originally Jules, her own solo band, and then Bo Diddley, and went on to perform to this day. Yeah, shout out to them. And then who else do I think should be in there? Had a really good one. Mother's Finest. And they're still not in there. Like, isn't that that is the wildest thing? Like, they are like the funk rock like lords, and they're still not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Still haven't gotten there, dude.
Those three. Yeah.
I got a question. Is the lead singer related to Shaka?
Joyce?
Yeah, I heard that she's her cousin.
I heard that was the thing too. So I was wondering, because like I did see that might be a thing.
But it might just be a rumor.
That might be a rumor too. What do you think about those? I guess like those like funk legends in terms of like Shaka and like Joyce Kennedy.
Parliament.
The Funkadelic.
Yeah, Funkadelic, Eddie Hazel. There's a point in time, especially for the guitarists, that it seemed like after Hendrix, it's kind of like they weren't letting any others in. And so you had a generation that came right after Hendrix, like Randy Isley, Eddie Hazel, all these cats, and they never really got like the publicity they should have gotten. So, Mother's Finest is that whole era, mid to late 70s. I think there's so much rich music in there that should be appreciated, especially as
absolutely. Do you think that a lot of the funk era would influence like rock overall, like from Eddie Hazel to like Michael Hampton to George Clinton and Star Colors as well, who would be the basis for Parliament Funkadelic later, Rock Her?
Well, I think a big problem too was that like rock wasn't promoted to Black people at that time.
It was not.
So they Black people had their lane. And then there was a rock lane for non-Black people. And, they figured that everybody had their lanes. And so if you were crossing lanes, they figured maybe that you didn't have an audience or whatever was the case. So, The problem is once you stop promoting things, the younger generations, they don't see it, so they stop. So then what happened was a lot of black people started putting down the guitar. You know, people forget there was a time when, like, you know, black man ruled the guitar. A couple sisters too, obviously. But, you know, there was a time when it was like, now when you think of guitar, you think of white dude. To the point when black people, if they see another black person playing the guitar, they'd be like, oh, he trying to be white. Oh, he playing that white boy stuff. But like we started that. You know, so when did that happen? When did we start putting down the guitar? It happened because we weren't shown us playing the guitar anymore.
We never put it down. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
that's what you know, we just weren't seen as.
We never put it down. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've always been playing stringed instruments. Like, you take us back to Africa. Why do you think they picked us up? Right. Like, I was reading different like passages for the root sessions and stuff. Mm-hmm. Y'all, they picked up Samuel Northrop from like 12 Years a Slave specifically because he can play the guitar and the violin. Wow. So like this has been going back for a long time of like the European Americans specifically like selecting different black musicians for their talent, but disregarding their humanity and their actual creative expression. Right. You know, like this is a recurring tale throughout our diasporic experience, which leads me to say, is that why you find that a lot of the times, as Ali posted earlier, genres become appropriated, but the soul is kind of extracted out of it, and the blackness is taken out of it as well.
Right. And then
is that what the industry has done, do you think?
Yes. I think so. Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Is that because they want to take rock and kind of like take the blackness out of it so that it is more whitewashed vision?
Yes, I agree, because that's what they were trying to do the whole time. Like just the idea of getting white artists to play the same exact songs that black musicians created so they can market it to white audiences and profit off of it and not give the credit to the proper artists. They've been doing that for a very long time. So there was a lot of artists like I think, who is it? I think it was Little Richard. Little Richard did not profit off of a lot of his work. And I think he went a very long while before he got a Grammy. Like he was never, I don't even think he ever won a Grammy. I'm not too sure. But it was a long time before he won a Grammy or he even got nominated for one, because a lot of his work was stolen. So yeah,
he didn't have the legal ownership over it because
he didn't have the legal ownership over it. And then I think a lot of that about the instruments, like black people putting down the instruments, I think a lot of that had to do with classism too, because I think at a certain time having an instrument or owning an instrument was seen as a luxury in most households. Like you saw the Michael Jackson movie, right? When his father had an instrument, but he only played it for gigs. So, and that family was like dirt poor, struggling.
Oh, straight up.
Yeah. And he went and he used all the money they had saved up to buy instruments, even though it put the family in more debt. So I think even though they had the talent to play those instruments and they got out of poverty, but it was just seen as a luxury at that time. I also remember Condoleezza Rice talking about how her family did well enough. They grew up in a segregated South. I don't know how she turned out the way she did though. But anyway, but she said that her family made sure that she had every opportunity awarded to her by putting her in piano classes and ballet and stuff like that, so that she could have a better chance to make it. Like, so it was kind of seen as a luxury to do those things. But I think instruments never died in the black church though.
No, never did.
You see any black church, they always have a live band playing percussion and guitar and drums and stuff. So yeah, that never died there. So I think a lot of musicians, that's why you hear a lot of musicians talking about they played in the church. They came from the church learning instruments. So yeah.
If we didn't have those black spaces, y'all, like Nate, Ali, Kim, do you think that it would be like harder to access art? Like, is it because of like those do-it-yourself spaces by like other Black people that we learned how to play music? Like personal experience? Like, yeah.
How many
that's where I learned
are self-taught?
Yeah, I think that's
how many
true.
of us are self-taught? I know I am, or whatever that means. You know, self-taught.
Self-taught, not classically trained.
Yeah.
Where'd you learn to play? Nate, where are you?
Oh, he right there. I see him.
No, I can't hear him though.
Unmute your mic. I can't hear
somebody keep muting my mic. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Somebody keep muting my mic. So, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I used to play drums. You know, I was self-taught back in the day. So, I mean, and also played the instrument. You know, played trombone in high school because I was in the marching band. So, self-taught from there too.
What?
Yeah, I did.
What? Right.
In high school.
Find out.
Huh? Yeah. I used to do the marching band thing. So.
Okay.
I have a relative who does the Savannah State Marching Band. He's the conductor. So yeah. I took chorus in high school, but you know, that's more the singing side.
I love this. All of us actually learned like fairly young, for the most part. We all gravitated towards music because it was something that allowed us to express ourselves in a place where we otherwise wouldn't really feel like comfortable, right? Here was this like haven, this sanctuary for us, you know?
You're gonna have to call Nate Slide now. Nate Slide. Okay. Yeah, man.
Why? I gotta slide the trombone.
Yeah, man. Slide, man. Okay, can I say one thing real quick?
Yeah.
A pet peeve. One thing I always drives me up the wall is whenever you have, I guess it's more like an R&B kind of thing, but whenever you have an artist live performing and they have a band behind them, Black drummer, there'll be a Black bass player, there'll be Black key player, Black piano, background singers, Black, white guitarist. It's almost like a formula. I can predict it. You know what I mean? And the guitarist, the white dude, is playing his ass off. He's clearly able to play it, but I'm just always fascinated. It's like y'all can never find a brother to play with y'all. I know we're out there, but you always see it, and it'll be some like long-haired white dude, like you know, in the R&B, but he's just kind of there in the background. And I always notice it. It's just a pet peeve. It's like, damn, I know. It's like, damn, it's gotta be one or two of us you could have called, man. Sorry. I just got triggered by the conversation.
Like for me personally, like that was always kind of the slippery slope of like playing alongside like white musicians, and like no shade to like white musicians, but it's like it's always like when does it start becoming more like the ratio of like white musicians in the band versus Black, and it's like how much of the focal point should be on that. Yeah, that's always something that is an ongoing conversation in music. So yeah, speaking of which, controversies. Lil Nas X. We could not let this roundtable like slip without getting to it. So I know y'all have a lot of feelings about Lil Nas X. You're right to do so. Our main like issue is like he's not really rock. So he's not really relevant to the musical conversation for Black Rockers United. But for the ongoing conversation of like artistic expression, yes. You know, like that's just like my feels on it, and like y'all are welcome to share. But, like,
yeah,
you got something to say. Go ahead, Kim.
I am here for the Black queer-led satanic panic. That's how I wore my earrings today. Anyway, this story has had me entertained for the past.
Real quick, boo. Are we echoing? Is somebody echoing?
Yeah.
I'll mute myself just so.
Yeah, everybody except Kim mute themselves.
Okay, so I'm here for the Black-led satanic panic. Black queer-led satanic panic. I'm here for it. Like, I was on Twitter from Saturday to Monday all day laughing my ass off at the reactions to this video. I didn't think it was that controversial as everyone was making it up to be. People were saying it was demonic. I'm trying to find the demonic imagery in it because I've seen death metal videos, black metal videos with more demonic imagery in it. And Lil Nas X is a troll. He grew up he's an internet baby. So he knows about memeing and trolling and all of that. He grew up and saw all of that. So he knows how to utilize that part to like build his platform. But what I loved about his video and the concept of it was that it was very carefully thought out in the way where he was just expressing himself in his life experiences as a queer black man. There's a lot of issues they go through in their daily life. And one of the things he was always told was that if he was gay, he was going to hell. So he literally gave these people that visual. He said, if I'm going to hell, I'm going to take you there, but I'm going to go on a stripper pole and thigh-high boots. And then I'm going to give a lap dance to the devil. That was the part that had me laughing so hard, was the fact that when I saw him go on that stripper pole, like, that was so funny. But I love the reaction to it because the reaction to it was something you would see where Marilyn Manson was on a rise in his career. Like, you never saw that with a black person. You never saw someone say, well, you never saw that type of reaction and debate from like senators, congressmen, politicians talking about it. Congregations at churches looking at his shoes, talking about it. Like, they were literally acting like it was the end of the world.
It was a shock rock conversation.
It was a shock rock conversation
by a rapper.
And you could date shock rock back to Screaming Jay Hawkins. You could date shock rock back to Screaming Jay Hawkins. People were losing their minds over these shoes. And these shoes sold out in 1 minute. He only had 666 pairs of them, but they sold out in 1 minute. And I know 2 people who have a pair of them. It was so ridiculous. I saw all the hoopla and the hurrah around it. People were acting like, oh my God, we're in the end of days. You had Christians talking about, oh, he sold his soul to the devil. But it was like the way they were talking about it, they were kind of wasting their beliefs on him and not realizing that he may not believe the same way you do. It was just it just opened up a very nuanced conversation because you had to talk about the hypocrisy. Like, people were complaining about Nike making these shoes and they had 1 drop of human blood in them, but then Nike shoes are manufactured in sweatshops and no one's talking about the blood that goes into those shoes being made daily. Like, people dying in their sweatshops. Right. No one's talking about that. And then he said, there was a tweet, he said, I thought y'all didn't like political correctness. What happened? Like, he was just trolling everybody for 5 days.
What I'm saying is, what's the rest of the roundtable think about the controversy?
The satanic shoes. I wanted a pair, but they was too much for me. I want the heels though. When he come up with the heels, I want those.
Hey, so they can match
my earrings.
What's that?
What do you think?
Things. I want to know what the founder thinks.
Man, hey. that's him. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not into that type of music. That's just me. I can't get into it. So that's it. Whatever he does, that's his prerogative. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Okay. I guess, is it my
But
turn?
can we talk about why? Oh, go ahead, because I want to ask a question after this.
Yeah, I mean, I think it definitely was along the veins of like Marilyn Manson, Alice Cooper, or Ozzy Osbourne, right? All that kind of stuff. So, like, like Nate said, if that's what you want to do, then by all means, do it. I just didn't see it as rock, to be honest. Like the song itself is a trap song. I didn't really see any kind of like. I didn't see any leather. I didn't see any chains. I didn't see anything other than the devil, which is a common image in a lot of rock or metal type of stuff. But I didn't feel like he was trying to make like a rock statement, but definitely a shock statement. I mean, he's well deserved to make it, especially if he has a truth behind it. I can't claim that one as a rock. In my opinion, I can't claim that as a rock, like a rock song or even a rock statement personally. So outside of opinions, I think shock-wise, it's definitely like maybe rock-ish. But let's see what he does afterwards. You know what I mean? Because he started with a country song. Now he did a trap song that's got rock images. If he stays on that, then if he kind of shows that he's really about that life, so to speak, then I will acquiesce. But I need to see a little more from him before I think it was just sort of like, how are we gonna get people looking at us personally? That's all.
Okay, so one of the things I wanted to ask is because people seem to think that only black metal bands can gatekeep Satan and demonic imagery. That's one of the things I found interesting, because there were a lot of metal boomers who had an issue with the reaction and that he was garnering all of this attention and that he was capitalizing off of Satan. Do you think that capitalizing off of this type of imagery and this content is limited to white bands who perform like black and death metal and sometimes are often white nationalist bands? That's one of the things I wanted to know.
Not anymore.
I guess before we get to our last
not point, anymore. That door's been blown open. That's now you're gonna see, not anymore.
Before we get to our last point, which is like political like post in the group, to like, I guess it is like semi-politically related in that a lot of black metal bands are nationalist where they come from. Typically tend to be like Germany, and a lot of the time Germany has those lingering after effects of Nazism. Same with Northern Europe. So I guess like the fact that they're trying to gatekeep Satan when it's not even necessarily like something that Lil Nas X believes in, it's just something he's poking fun at, is a very interesting dialogue, because it's like he's not claiming it, you know what I mean? Like he's just like satirizing it. But like what nationalists tend to do is just be like not really want black people associated at all with the images that they like have ownership over. So that was the main, I was like, oh, okay, you think he's like stepping into your domain type of thing, but he's not even really into it like that. Like he trolled you, in other words. He got you.
Appropriating our devil.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I'm just like, oh, that's how you think it's rolling. Okay. I'm like, whatever, y'all. Yeah, that's my answer. What about y'all? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean,
I agree with your point. He was making a satire of it. He wasn't claiming it. And that's what I think a lot of people need to realize, because they believe anything that is not of God is Satan worship or whatever. And real Satanists don't even worship Satan. They worship themselves. That's what I think. That's how I found the reaction so comical. Like everybody was just losing their mind.
So Kim, let me throw a stick of dynamite at the conversation. So does that make Lil Nas X a poser?
Does it make him a poser? I don't think it was making him a poser because he wasn't like trying to copy and he wasn't trying to do rock music.
Okay.
He was just taking provocative images, or he was trying to make a statement and do it provocatively. I don't think, and that's why I think he wanted to offend people because at his life experience, he was also traumatized and offended his whole life by some of the things people were saying to him because he was a gay Black man. Right. So he took that and he gave them the visual of what they were saying to him his whole life. So, and people got offended by it. They said, you told him his whole life he's going to hell. So he gives you that visual and you're still mad. That's what I don't think that makes him a poser. I think that makes him an artist expressing himself in which way he feels comfortable. And all he did was like, it was heavily glamorized. So it wasn't like, it was very shocking. It wasn't shocking. It wasn't very shocking. He was just glamorizing it. Someone said, this is nothing new. Having a grown up as Prince, having grown up as a Prince and Madonna fan, they were examples of stirring up controversy with religious imagery.
They were just not as sexual and as gay. As right. We can just say that flat.
I gotta keep it real though. Prince had them thigh highs too.
Yes, he did. And he had them assless chops too.
That Dirty Mind album cover.
Assless pants. Like,
look at that Dirty Mind album
cover. This is just a new era. I think we all have to accept that this is a progression of what we've been seeing before. It's just like, bam, face with it, you know? And it's,
I mean, Prince was never giving the devil a lap dance, though.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm saying it's an evolution of like what we're used to.
I agree,
Yeah, but this generation is just so used to trolling and being provocative, you know? And I think that's something we have to be like thinking about is that like, what is too much and then what is the overall goal? Is the goal something that we're really seeing? Is it the message itself or is it something deeper? Yeah. Which comes to our next point, y'all. Political post in Black Rockers United. If it's not music related, can't really rock with it. But we know that a lot of y'all live in the places that you're talking about, so it matters to you. In terms of recent events, like we understand why you posted about Atlanta.
Sorry, everybody. Sorry, Nicole. I think we're echoing.
Say what?
I think we're echoing.
Okay, give me a second.
Yeah.
Are we good? Okay. Yeah, like I understand why we wanted to post about what happened in Atlanta. Our deepest condolences as like an entire admin team. We know a lot of y'all come from that city and we're devastated by what happened, as much as you are, especially since like Asian and Black communities, regardless of our dynamics, live side by side, you know, like you would feel strongly about it. It's just like, that's not the group for it. You know what I mean? Like if you want to have that discussion, like any one of us would have that personally with you, but this like group wise, no, and it never really turns out well. And I wanted to hear the rest of the admin's thoughts on that as well. Muting.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like that wasn't the forum for it. I understand if you feel strongly about it or whatever, but it's not the place for it.
Yeah, I think so too. I think you know, we definitely all have solidarity with, you know, all of the people going through that stuff down there and anywhere else. So that isn't the issue, but it's just it opens up a Pandora's box, and it can create opposition within the group, and we don't want that to snowball into something else. So it's not something we like to do, but we just have to maintain that kind of objectivity and. Again, it's not fun for us to do it, but we have to try to maintain that so we can keep focus on keep moving things forward. Well said, Nicole. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, I totally agree with what Ali is saying because Black Rockets United is not a place for like political talk. This is a music page. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have to keep it around music. Like Nicole said, it's cool, how you feel about certain things, but just don't talk about it in the group. You know what I'm saying? They have other groups that have political stuff that you can talk about. So, I just said they just keep it around music. You know what I'm saying? No political talk at all.
Now you could talk about political music.
Yeah, political music. Yeah, that's different. Yeah. But you know what I'm saying? Like I'm talking about like politicians. Like what's going on. Yeah.
Now it's not related to music anyway.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
On Instagram, we recently reposted from a Mauritanian musician who is a griot named Nora Mint Simali, but that's musically related. It was because that's her ancestry and that's related to the root sessions that we do for Black Rockers United. It's an ancestral tie, you know what I mean? But if that wasn't music, we wouldn't post it. If she wasn't a griot, then it wouldn't matter, right? There has to be that link of artistic activism, or else it's not really as relevant to Black Rockers United.
Agreed. Also, real quick, I just want to give a shout out to FKA Twigs. FKA Twigs is a sister artist who came up with a song. I forgot the name of the song. Is it called Cellophane or something like that? And the video. What?
Cellophone.
Yeah. So I just that video inspired the pole descent that Lil Nas X did. They both had the same directors and the same choreographer. And she dropped her song, I think, a year earlier. And her song is in support of sex workers. So there was a point and a message behind that particular song. So I just kind of want to just give her a little bit of acknowledgement. And I think that was a positive thing for her to do.
Yeah, they had a conversation earlier this week too. Like she reached out to him or he reached out to her, and they just had a conversation. And he said, "Yes, I would definitely acknowledge that there was an inspiration there."
I guess that leads to the uncomfortable point when this inspiration becomes theft. Right.
Yeah.
That issue was followed a lot of artists, some of our favorites. That triggers me as an underground artist because a lot of times the industry literally pilfers through videos of artists that aren't known. And if they see a nice video or if they see a nice look or even a nice song, they will literally take it and give it to the artist that they are representing or signed. That artist will then put out the song or put out the same looking video and claim that, I thought of it myself. And then when the artist that did it originally, he's like, hey, wait a minute. That's just like my joint. And everyone looks at the artist that they don't know and goes, stop hating, stop blah, 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 blah. So I just that issue is sensitive for me, and I think it's important because the industry now is taking a lot of liberties and literally looking for things, taking it and giving it to already signed. They're already signed artists, so I think it's important on our end to be able to at least acknowledge or catch it when it happens. I mean, it's one thing to be inspired, right? It's all inspired. I got Jimi Hendrix dripping all over whatever I do, and a bunch of other people, right? So you definitely take, you definitely mimic, but I think you can still innovate. And if the innovation isn't there, and the only thing that's there is the taking of something without the innovation of it, without making it your own, then I think it's a problem. Then the line is.
Well said, Ali. This has been amazing, y'all. Do you have any closing thoughts before we go around and check on everyone?
Real quick closing thoughts. I know Nate's gonna back me up on this. I know I can speak for him, but I just want to say full salute, 10 gun salute to the sisters for the Rock for Roundtable. Y'all definitely did your thing. We were watching, we were supporting. I was there being a full-fledged groupie for both of y'all and for all the guests. I thought it was amazing. The response has been amazing as well. And I'm definitely looking forward to the next one. So good job, the sisters. Y'all definitely did your thing. Brothers are supporting you 100%.
Yes.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Sure, later on, I might fuck around and watch it again.
Exactly.
So I might watch it again. It's on YouTube. You know, in case the people don't know, you can check it out on YouTube. We got our own YouTube channel. So
are we trying to do another one of those?
Yes. I think it's April 30th at 6 p.m. We're gonna have another one. And I'm happy to announce that Lena Dogs will be joining us.
That's what I'm talking about.
So we have
the griot herself.
Meredith is coming back.
Right.
And we have Madam St. Beatrice. And I also think we have the Ghetto Songbird, Samantha Holland.
All right. Look at this. Making moves. I love it.
Awesome.
Gonna reach out to all of them and make sure that they can join our second Rocker Roundtable, April 30th.
Oh, and brew members, rockers, the merch is coming.
Yes.
The merch is coming. So start saving your pennies so you can rep that brew shirt that's gonna be dropping pretty soon.
Yep.
More info to come.
And then once you get your shirt, just go ahead take pictures and post it.
Mm-hmm.
And hashtag Black Rockers United.
Yeah. So
yeah,
it's gonna get good.
All right, crew. Well, we are about to sign out. Nicole Kali here from the admin team, Black Rockers United. Nate, founder. Much love to you, my brother. Keeping it metal, Kim Gill. Ali, any last words before we sign out from Brew Crew?
Just keep it rock until the next one.
Oh, someone said a quick shout out to B.B. Dickerson from War, who passed away yesterday. Talk about a legend from the late 60s and 70s. That's a black rocker and roller.
Definitely. Shout out.
Yeah.
Great band. Great. Back road. I listen to that like every other week.
Hey, Sepsis.
Yeah.
Hey, Sepsis.
All right, y'all. Thanks for joining our admin roundtable. We'll catch you next time.
Thanks for your comments, everybody.
By the way, keep on rocking.
Keep on rocking. Dig.
Oh, yeah.
More black legs, panic.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Take care. Have a good weekend, everybody.
So, all right, y'all. Take care. Have a good weekend, everybody. Yes, you too.